This is State Representative Gloria Johnson, a member of the Tennessee Three. On March 30th, 2023, in the middle of a House session, Johnson, along with Representative Justin Jones and Justin J. Pearson, approached the area of the House floor known as the Well and interrupted the proceedings to shout with protesters who were in attendance in the gallery. The Speaker immediately called the three out of order and called a recess. Their protest against gun violence effectively shut down all business on the House floor for nearly an hour. And when these three members of the House interrupted the proceedings, they had done something that had never occurred during the entire 153-year history of the Tennessee General Assembly. So in response, on April 3rd, 2023, Republicans introduced three House resolutions to expel Johnson, Jones, and Pearson for breaking House rules, stating that they did knowingly and intentionally bring disorder and dishonor to the House of Representatives through their individual and collective actions. So on April 6th, the House moved forward with expulsion hearings against the so-called Tennessee Three. And in this installment, we'll take a look at the case of Gloria Johnson. So right before Johnson's expulsion hearing started, the House voted to expel Justin Jones from his seat by a vote of 72 to 25.
Pursuant to Article 2, Section 12 of the Constitution of the State of Tennessee, I hereby declare Representative Justin Jones of the 57th Representative District expelled from the House of Representatives of the 113th Assembly of the State of Tennessee.
And now it was Representative Johnson's turn. But unlike Justin Jones, who gave his own 20-minute statement, Johnson went another route and let two former House members act as her representation and give opening statements on her behalf.
America was born to protest. Thank the good Lord it was. 1688, the Germantown Quaker protest. 1773, the Tea Party. 1791, the Whiskey Rebellion.
Whoa! He's using the Whiskey Rebellion as a positive example of a protest, when in fact, it was a violent insurrection against the United States government. I thought insurrection was supposed to be bad.
Expulsion under these circumstances, as all of you know, would have no precedent in Tennessee or elsewhere. These accused members have committed no crime, no act of moral turpitude. Their actions bear no relationship to the sort of actions for which expulsion has traditionally been used.
But traditionally, House members had never acted in this way on the House floor, ever. Democrats in the media will tell you that these expulsion hearings were unprecedented, but then again, so were the Tennessee Three's actions. See the woman in blue? That's House Minority Leader Karen Camper, and she is pissed. Watch how she pushes Jones off the House floor. Priceless.
I mean, do you know who Gloria Johnson is? Does anybody know her? I mean, who is Gloria Johnson? Is she the boogeyman?
I believe the correct term in this case is boogie woman.
I mean, Gloria Johnson's a school teacher, a public school teacher, a special education school teacher.
First of all, she's actually a retired school teacher. Second, who cares? What does this have to do with anything?
She's a sister, she's a daughter, she's an American, she's a Tennessean, she's a Farragut graduate, she's a graduate of the University of Tennessee, and a Girl Scout.
Gloria Johnson is a Girl Scout? Well, why didn't you say so? Case dismissed. So Johnson's lawyer, John Mark Windle, started reading from the resolution and attempted to poke holes in the charges against his client.
At approximately 10:49 a.m., Representative Johnson and her colleagues, having gathered at her desk, moved in unison and began shouting without recognition. It is an absolute falsehood that has been perpetrated on this body. This woman did not shout, and that's the first particular that they charged her with.
So if you look at the footage of the incident, you can see that Johnson is chanting along with Jones and Pearson. Could this be considered shouting? Maybe, maybe not.
Whereas during this time, Representative Johnson pounded the podium. Show me where she pounded the podium. Another outright lie.
And Wendell is right. There is no evidence that she smacked the podium. In fact, we see that Johnson was off to the side for most of the protest. And while she was participating, her actions were not quite as disruptive as Jones and Pearson.
Whereas during this time, Representative Johnson generally engaged in disorderly and disruptive conduct, including refusing to leave the well, sitting on the podium, and utilizing a sign displaying a political message. This is in the conjunctive. Again, an outright lie. She did not display a sign.
I mean, sure, she generally engaged in disorderly and disruptive conduct, but she didn't display a sign, guys. So after the collective opening statement, House members were able to question Representative Johnson, and the author of the resolution, Representative Gino Balso of Brentwood, handled questioning for the Republicans.
We saw on the videotape, did we not, that you were chanting, quote, "Enough is enough," close quote.
That's probably true, yes, but it was not yelling, and my voice was no louder than the conversations going on in this room, even occasionally some yelling a little bit across the floor to each other. That was also going on. I stood with my colleagues. I stand with my colleagues.
That's her defense, guys. She was chanting, but she wasn't yelling.
You will agree that you also were chanting from the well, quote, "Power to the people," close quote, and, quote, "No action, no peace," close quote. You chanted both of those slogans from the well, correct?
Representative Johnson.
What I'm going to say to you is I did not speak in a voice louder than any other member on this floor. You may make of it what you will.
She went up and disrupted House business to have a substantial temper tantrum with her friends, yet when she's asked to verify these details, asked why did she do it, she won't give a direct answer. Instead, she plays the whataboutism card.
Isn't it true, Representative, that you expected to be disciplined for your conduct on March the 30th?
Representative Johnson.
I don't know. I knew that it was possible because I did understand the rule. However, I have seen far, far worse in this body.
Ah, great excuse. Sure, I broke a rule, but what about everybody else? What I did wasn't as bad as the things I've seen other people do. And for the record, let's see an example of the kind of thing that she's referring to. On March 27th, Representative Johnson tweeted, "Here is Senator Joey Hensley standing up on the House floor with the Maury County Mule Day Court, proudly wearing his Confederate flag tie. And another big racist rant in Government Operations Committee today. Every damn day." So for comparison, here is the exact design of the tie that Senator Hensley was wearing, and this is a Confederate battle flag. Yeah, not even close. And the only racist rants that I saw in that day's Government Operations Committee came from her fellow colleague Justin Jones, including a response to a statement made by Republican Representative Sabi Kumar.
To say that America is fundamentally, inherently, and irredeemably racist is not the reality today. It is certainly, there was a time, it is a part of history. But today's America, if it's not good enough, let's work to make it better.
I mean, this is so shameful that we're sitting up here and we have members of this body smiling when Representative Kumar said that because they were happy a brown face was saying it instead of a white face.
So in case it wasn't obvious, Gloria Johnson is a liar. I know you're shocked.
You got to the well and were gavelled out of order by the speaker. You would not dispute that, correct?
Representative Johnson.
What is my crime, sir?
Of course, she is straw-womaning because no one is accusing her of a crime. She was very aware that she was breaking the rules, and now she's trying to generate sympathy with the public.
I came to the well. I stood with my colleagues. I fought for my constituents in a quiet, non-desk pounding, whatever it said about holding up signs or whatever.
Now she has the nerve to say that her participation was quiet.
But this 6 or 7 minute disturbance up here, that whatever you want to call it, what we call coming to the well to lift the voices of the people that we serve, the voices of my district. My conduct on that day was what I felt compelled in my heart to do for my constituents.
I'm sorry, that is not an excuse. She's been a member of the House on and off for a decade. Johnson knew what she was doing was against the House rules, and she did it anyway. Based on that alone, she deserved to be expelled. But in the end, the House voted 65-30. And since the resolution needed a 2/3 vote to pass, Representative Johnson was spared expulsion, unlike Justin Jones and Justin J. Pearson.
Let's talk about the racial dynamic here, because a lot of people have noticed Representative Johnson is a white woman. You were not expelled.
Why were those two expelled and you weren't?
Well, I think it's pretty clear I'm a 60-year-old white woman, and they are 2 young black men.
Liar! The only reason that white woman Johnson wasn't expelled wasn't because of race. It was because the resolution against her was poorly drafted. And for proof, the following is leaked audio from a Republican caucus meeting where Representative Jody Barrett attempts to defend his vote.
Then we get into the floor again, and immediately the questions start coming up about the resolution. I know what she did. I know what she did broke the rules. And I know that she deserves to be expelled. We got to do it right. And that wasn't right.
So on one hand, Representative Barrett, who was in fact the deciding vote, voted no because the resolution wasn't entirely accurate. But on the other hand, there was plenty in the resolution that was correct that would have justified voting yes. And had Gloria Johnson been expelled, there's a big chance that the Knox County Commission wouldn't have voted to reappoint her to the House, as 9 out of 11 of its members are Republican. And I get why Representative Barrett voted against expulsion, to personally avoid controversy. But now, every media outlet is pointing out that only the black representatives were expelled. Because you know why. Gee, thanks, Jody. And the worst part is the Tennessee House Republicans had an excellent chance to get rid of Gloria Johnson and gain an additional seat in the House, and they blew it. Womp womp. Anyway, that's all the time we have for now. Look out for part 3, where we'll take a look at the expulsion hearing of Justin J. Pearson. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time. If there is next time.